Hey guys, so in lieu of the market update that I do every Sunday, and for those that don't know what in lieu means, it just is a fancier word of saying instead of. I'm trying to impress the senoritas, but instead of going over the market update, I'm going to be going over my top-down analysis on Bitcoin and discussing whether or not we are in a bear market with just Bitcoin. I'm not talking about in general, and then going basically from higher time frames down to lower time frames and um, breaking every single time frame down so we have at least some type of you know awareness of where we are in this cycle and so on and so forth. Okay, so again, this analysis is based on my analysis only. I will take into account other major items such as quantitative easing and interest rate cuts, etc. But you have to do your own due diligence and your own analysis and uh, be mindful of your own positions. And I take no accountability for whether or not you decide to sell or buy or whatever. Okay, so back in January, I made this video in the Discord, but I also made a few other videos, for YouTube that basically I called the highs. Okay, so I said that I sold all my long-term investments. I sold on end of January, and we got out of the highs, and I still think that was the local top. Now, was that the top of the cycle, or are we going to have that next leg up? And again, I'm only speaking for Bitcoin here. Okay, so as we see from the last cycle here, we've already completed the fifth wave up, okay? And what I did is I took a forecast measure based on, sorry, one sec, this is, okay, from the highs down to the end of um, the lows of the bear market, and I just took that and I placed it on top of here. Now I'm going to remove this and go to a lower time frame, and as you see, especially on the daily time frame, okay, this has been playing out to a T. Okay, now again, these are just fractals. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but in this case, it did because Agent Orange or Agent Turd or Orange Turd, whatever you want to call them, made it easy for it to happen. All right, so that is the long term. Okay, now I'm going to go to a different chart and we're going to go down um, time frame by time frame. Now, high time frame structure is still intact. Okay, I can draw a trend line. Okay, and the bull market started when we had a structure break. Okay, so once we broke above this level here, this was our last lower high. Okay, made a lower low, break above, and we had a structure change. This, in my opinion, is when the bull run started. So when we took out this 21 to 25K region, that is when the bull run started. All right. Now we can take a look at previous bull runs, and we can see from the same exact perspective, and I'm only using the Coinbase chart because it has the most data. All right. So structure break happened around here. So from 2017 date range. Okay, this is when the bull run started of the first cycle, all the way until here. Okay, so around 431 days. All right, now we're back down to here. Here's the second cycle. Okay, lower lows. There's the break above. This is when the first bull run started. So once we had that break of structure, so we can call it from, let's say, right here. And we're going to extend it to where we think the bull run ended. Okay, so right up here. Okay, so about 430-ish days again, right? Cycles so far haven't changed. We haven't had any major regulations such as, ETFs or stuff like that. It's been pretty much the same, right? Now again, bull run, in my opinion, and if you guys are coming into the cycle late, I'm sorry, you were coming into it at the very end, but the bull run started when we broke above this here. Okay, here's the last lower high, broke up, made a lower low, or sorry, a higher low. So the bull run started here. Okay. Now currently, at the highs, okay, it was about 704 days. So almost 2x the previous cycles. All right. So I'm inclined to say if this wasn't our highs, right, we can come back down just like this little fractal says, come till about like 74k-ish, 75k-ish. We actually got very, very close to the peak of bottom, and then we can go to put in another high. Now my target is around 120 to 130. I've made this clear multiple times in the Discord and also on YouTube that my max high for this cycle is 120 to 130k. Whether we would have gotten up there or came back down, and right, so we can still come back down to 74k and still go up to the highs, right? Now, like I said, this cycle is overextended. All right, so again, bull run started back in 23. All right, if you guys are in here asking for where's the bull run, you guys are late, very late actually. So if this is still not the top, we have one more, leg up. Okay, otherwise, if this was it, then that was it. Okay, now bear markets, on average, can take, let's say, from here all the way down to here. Okay, from here all the way down to, okay, so the first one, right, now, yes, we had a small little rally up there. Okay, there actually was a bull run there. So 356, about another, where did this go? 460 days as well. All right, it's about a year. And, if we are to start, let's say, a bear market from this point on, okay, we can actually go up until April of 26 with a downtrend, right? We may never get highs again. So, you will have multiple instances where, in a bear market, it looks like we are actually going to rally, just like, we had multiple dips last bull run of like 30%. Okay, and you guys can go back and back test this, right? Multiple dips of like 30 or 20%. This is common, okay? And even in bear markets, you will have sharp rallies. Just like, if this was our top, right? We came back down. Look, we put in a 12% move, right? We came back down to 53. We went to 60. Okay, everyone was thinking the dip never would stop dipping, right? 38%. Okay, came back down again, another 26%. This is all within the bear market, right? Then completely collapsed, and from these lows to these highs, again a 26%. All right. 43% from 18 up to 25 before further down. Okay, you will have sharp rallies in a bear market, right? It doesn't mean that this is a low. We came and crashed from 109 down to 78, and we put in a 20% rally, and then it got fully reversed. And again, from the lows up until now, we put in a 10% rally. These are not uncommon. You will have multiple of these, okay? But you have to understand the trajectory on at least the daily is down, okay? Like I said, the weekly is still in an uptrend. We are making another higher low here. We made a higher high. We can actually come back down to about 74 till about 58K and still put in another higher low, meaning that this low is above this one. Okay, so we have the weekly structure still intact, right? Now, daily is completely bearish. All right. Daily was bearish after, and I mentioned this multiple times. Daily was bearish once we closed below this higher low. Okay, that's when you had the break of structure. Okay, and then we closed below it there, moved down, even a bearish retest, and continued to move down. So there is no reason for people to be bullish, even though we had a 10% move on a daily structure, because we are still in a downtrend. All right, we need to reclaim this level here, basically from 92.5 to 95K to be bullish on the daily. All right, we can still go up to here and still reject and come back down. So, for those people, and there's a lot of analysts who have terrible analysis, but for those people that don't understand what market structure is, I would highly suggest you guys understand and learn when too long and when too short, because higher time frame, although everyone's getting horny over a 10% move, we are still in a downtrend. All right, I work with a lot of analysts, and about 80% of them are complete garbage. All right, because they don't understand market structure. Okay, um, so that being said, I'm not bullish on I'm weekly high time frame, okay, and I'm talking about the weekly uptrend is still intact. I am still high time frame bearish until we can reclaim this 92 to 95K. All right. As I said before, I do think most of the alts are in a bear cycle. They will not get back to their highs. Now let's talk about Orange Turd's plan for tanking the economy. So he's trying to force the Fed's hand into lower interest rates or rate cuts. Okay, so by tanking the markets, okay, people are getting out of the stock market, going into bonds, and they're looking to refinance our deficit at a discount. Okay, so with that being said, the Fed will have to act on whether or not rate cuts are the best decision, right? And multiple politicians and presidents have done this, but what Trump did and attacking every single country all at once is his mistake. You could have started with Canada and just left it with Canada, although I don't agree with tariffing your partner nations ridiculously. Okay, I think Trump's a fucking retard. But his strategy, in my opinion, whether it works, sure, but we can't talk about strategy or quantitative easing. If you're looking at charts right now, you have to tell what the charts, because like, what if this doesn't happen? What if J Powell doesn't cut rates? All right. And what if we go much lower, only for the rate cuts to happen for us to return back to where we were? Okay, so you have to think of this subjectively and objectively. And right now, we're going to work with what we currently have. All right. So looking at this chart, we're only focused on the technical aspects of Bitcoin and the markets in general. Okay. Yes, you can take fundamentals into it, but that's a whole different concept because we had um, Trump take office literally on this day, and then everyone thought it was bullish, and then we completely collapsed. All right. So if you're taking fundamentals, then why weren't the charts bullish back then? No, charts became actually bearish when he took. We swept the highs and then came back down. The story is always in the charts. All right. Now, you guys know my stance on a macro time frame. I am macro time frame bearish until we are able to reclaim this level here and put in a giant deviation. All right. But until then, the best risk to rewards are going to be that of shorts in this market in a downtrend. Okay. So not bullish until we get above 92 to 95K. But let's break this down on an even lower level here. Okay. So let's turn on RSI. So we actually had a bullish div. Okay. Price was making lower lows and RSI was making higher lows. So on the daily, we actually did have bullish div, which actually did send us, right, that 11%. Okay. So although we might be low time frame bullish here, high time frame will always prevail. Now let's take a look. We have this range here since the 9th. Okay, clear resistance, back down to support. We swept the lows, and then we have our supply zone here around 85 to 86, almost 87K. Okay, so let's take a look at this. All right, so we have a clear range, multiple rejections, and like I said, the more touches of resistance, the weaker it's going to get, right? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we finally broke out. Now, if we're talking about this being a range, here is your mid-range level, and here's your range low level. Okay, you have an order block. Now, we went above range highs. If we come back and close below range lows here, you have a deviation of this small range, and then, this is going to be your TP1 and TP2 long range lows. This will be a triple tap bottom or triple bottom and something, back to the range highs. Okay, this is not a play, so don't take it. I'm just showing you guys because we can easily come back down and sweep these lows and even go to 74K before getting back here. Okay, so if we close back below this range, then most likely this is a deviation and we do go back down to the range lows. Okay, or at least mid-range first. So we have a lot of work to do, and like I said, yes, we had the daily divergence, but yes, on a lower time frame, you could put in higher highs, right? Like here is your last lower low, higher high into a higher low, right? Into again another failed lower high here, and then continue to go down, made a new lower low, put in a higher low, and then continue to go higher, right? This can easily come back down, put another higher low, and then go higher. So although high time frames may be bearish, low time frames can have a bullish aspect. And in this case, we had one. We had not only the daily bearish or bullish divergence, but we put in a higher low here and a whole bunch of aspects that led Bitcoin to be bullish. This was manipulation by the orange turd, right? And then over here, it's organic spot buying. Spot buyers right now currently have a $40 to $70 premium. It just means that spot buyers or people that are buying Bitcoin currently on spot is organic, and as spot price is leading, and it's a lagging indicator, the trend is usually up. And if we're taking a look at here, right, we not only broke above here, broke market structure, put in a higher low, again, put in a possible higher high. We can come back down as long as we don't close below 80K. Close below 80K, we go down, right? But this is our last higher low. If we come back down here and go higher, then this is our last higher low. So right now, the 4-hour, I'm leaning towards neutral. I'm not bullish yet. There's no reason to be bullish. We are at range highs with a possible deviation. Okay, so like I said, the um, the risk to reward right now favors shorts. Okay, it's too you're way too long to currently sorry, you're way too late to long currently. You missed the move. Now you have to sit patiently on your hands and wait for an opportunity to present itself. Whether it's going to be at a higher low here at this order block with stops below the wick, and then you're targeting for a new higher high, or you're looking for shorts at the supply zone, or a deviation back under this range with a short stops above there, or range lows. So you have multiple times. Okay, so um, are we now the question is, are we in a bull cycle or a bear cycle? We are, if that wasn't our top, we have one more top in my opinion for Bitcoin to about 120 to 130K. If that was our top, then yes, we are in a bear cycle. Bear cycles can be shorter as time goes on, just like we saw in the previous one. The Bitcoin, bull cycle is about 2x that of the previous one. Okay, Bitcoin moving forward is going to be the only asset that anyone should care about. Okay, no one cares about AI agents. No one cares about AI coins. Bitcoin is going to be, like crypto is a Bitcoin market. All right, nothing else in my opinion. So looking at this, right, again, I'm not going to be turning bullish until we have a reclaim of 92.93. But the other aspect or the point that I want to make across is the question that I get in DMs a lot that I usually ignore is, um, I want to buy here. Is this a good time to buy? Now, that is a question that you have to decide for yourself. Okay, you can't be reliant on someone, buying and selling for you to make that decision. If someone sells and the price continues to go higher, for example, I sold a position in the Discord and price ran up another, 10% from that. That is my decision, okay? If you are following me, you are basing it off of my own journaling and my own playmaking. If you are unhappy with that decision, learn to do TA and charting yourself and make your own decisions moving forward. All right. So the other question um, is this a good time to buy? All right. So, in my opinion, price can go up and price can go down from here. I'd rather buy with confidence and a trend, whether it means buying 20% higher than the current price, okay? And that way I have confirmation. Otherwise, I'm bidding lower, right? I'm going to stick to my trade plan and do as I say. And this is what I've been preaching for the past 2 or 3 months. High time frame, we are bearish. There's no reason for me to add with confidence. I'd rather wait for a trend flip and wait for confirmation of strength before buying. Now, if you don't want to buy higher and you think price goes uh, doesn't go as low as you think, then by all means you can start DCing into positions. All right. For me, I'm a trader. I'm not a long-term investor anymore. I think investment opportunities for the long term are over. Yes, you might be able to get a few X's here and there on certain altcoins, but in reality, if they go back up, 2x, look, you're going to go back to prices at January all-time highs. You're not going to get a 5 to 10x from most coins in this state of the market. It's just not going to happen. So if you believe that coins cannot go lower, then by all means, start DCing and start averaging into positions as we go lower. Otherwise, for me personally, I'm waiting for higher prices. and I'll buy with confirmation. Whether I give up an extra 20% for me doesn't matter. I am a trader, but for you, you must make your own decisions. Okay, so on a higher time frame, I am still bearish. There's no reason to be bullish, and on a lower time frame, yes, we have a possible another lower high here forming, but this could easily be continuation to the downside to put in another lower low. Now again, back to the 4-hour here, or even a 12-hour. I like the 12 hours. Okay. This could easily be a sweep of these highs here. Okay. So this could easily be a SFP. Now 12 hours will close in 1 hour and 42 minutes. And if this does SFP, most likely we go back down to, the ranges. Okay, so as I mentioned in the previous example. Okay, so we need to close, in my opinion, above 85K to continue higher, or this is just a deviation on a lower time frame. Okay, and we play the range that way. Okay, so in all, here's my brief synopsis. If 109 was not the top, we have a max move to 120 to 130. I don't care about alts. I'm only speaking about Bitcoin here. If that was the highs, then yes, we are in a bear market. Is Trump and his plan going to change the outcome of the market? Will it have an effect? Of course it will. All right. If it's bullish news, it's going to send the market higher. But we still have to take things level by level. 93 to 95K is that barrier that we need to get above first before we start talking about all-time highs. Until then, we play with whatever levels that we have. Do I think we go lower to 74 to 68K? It is still in play. How long is it going to take? No idea. I just play levels. I don't do time frames. All right, so that is it from me, guys. That is my top-down analysis on Bitcoin. Whether or not you guys want to agree with it is based on you. Again, do your own analysis, and we go from there. Thanks, everyone.